Hello everyone, this is me Hibsa from kodularfreeaia.com. In the previous video of this series, I showed you how I created the UI for this quiz application using Kodular. Now it's time to move forward and explore how I designed the blocks logic for a part of this course application. So without any further delay, let's jump into the block section and I will walk you through what I have done in the coding part. First of all, I cleaned up the code a bit. I haven't deleted any raw codes that I have been using or experimenting with. They are still there, but let's ignore those for now and focus on the actual logic. We start by initializing a global list called questions data. This list will store all the questions retrieved from Airtable database. After that, in the screen initialize block, I have set it up to fetch all rows from the spreadsheet right when the screen loads. By loading all the data once at the start, the app runs smoother and avoid repeated delays during in-user interactions. Once the data is fetched, I'm using JSON tools extension to parse and organize the raw data from Airtable. This JSON data isn't structured neatly, so this extension helps me loop through each row and extract the unnecessary fields. Here how it works. I created a small list that takes each row's data starting with ID followed by question, option 1, option 2, option 3 and answer. For each row it creates a simplified and organized structure and then adds it up to the question data. So row by row we extract the values, organize them properly and store them into the main list that our app will use to display questions and options. We are also managing the current question using a global variable called question ID. Every time a question is answered, question ID is incremented by 1 to move on to the next question, and we call the load data function to display it. In the load data, we have enabled a timer using a clock component. We then reset the answer state using global answer and set up the UI elements for the question. For example, we assign images to option 1, option B, option C, option D using PNG files. These images visually represents whether an answer is correct or incorrect, turning green with a check mark if correct or red with a cross if incorrect. Let me quickly show you the images we have. We have letter A, letter B, letter C and letter D. These are assigned in the designer section and updated in the logic based on the user selection. We also display something like we also display question number out of 1 by 10 to show the user which question they are on out of total. Then we fetch and the relevant row from the question data based on question ID. Since the index 1 is the ID and index 2 is the question, then we map them as these accordingly. The buttons are set to the corresponding options and the correct answer is saved into the global answer to check against the user selection. The score is initialized to 0 at the start of the quiz. Now let's look at the logic for the button options. I will explain it using button 1 as an example. When button 1 is clicked, the app checks whether the selected option matches the global answer. If it's correct, it increases the score by 10, changes the button image to check.png, that is a green tick, and moves on to the next question by incrementing question ID and calling load data again. If the answer is wrong, the app changes the button image to delete.png but doesn't increase the score. It will still move on to the next question. These are the check images. I will show you. The check.png is actually the tick mark which shows that the answer is correct, and delete.png is the cross which shows that the answer is incorrect. This same logic applies to all the question options. Same goes for option button 2, option button 3 and option button 4. Right now the timer and the progress bar features are not complete. We will be working on those in the next tutorial. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you are enjoying this series. In the next video, we'll finish up the remaining parts and wrap up the quiz app project. Also, stay tuned for more exciting app tutorials, just not in Kodular but also in Python. Until then, take care and happy coding.